All right, let's get going, you guys. We are going to cover this article on chess.com, and it says Christopher Yu very sad and ashamed after strike, father says in apology. Okay, so for anybody who's not familiar with this, by the way, I'll move this down just one little bit. Yeah, for anybody who's not familiar with the with what happened, I think it's gonna say Christopher Yu was kicked out of the US Championship. So let's dive right into the action. Okay, in an emotional statement, GM Christopher Yu's father, Young Q Yu, issued a heartfelt apology following his son's expulsion from the 2024 US Chess Championship after striking a videographer. Christopher offers no excuses for his behavior. He's just very sad and ashamed he behaved in that way. The statement by Yu's father, published on uschess.org, reads, if you saw him tearfully apologize to the executive director of the club, you'd understand he is genuinely remorseful. Okay, the 17-year-old was charged with 4th-degree assault by the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department and taken into custody after he stormed out of the tournament hall and struck a female videographer from behind after his round 5 loss against GM Fabiano Caruana. The minor was eventually released to the custody of his parents, and his case will be handled by the juvenile justice system. Okay. Yu was found guilty of gross violations of the event's code of conduct and US Chess safe play policy and expelled from the event. US Chess has also announced that Yu's membership is suspended pending an investigation into the incident. Okay. Chief Arbiter, actually, I assume they have the statement down. Oh, the statement's down here, so we'll read it in a second. It says, Chief Arbiter Christopher Burr described the attack as a completely unprovoked punch from behind and in no way accidental, while GM Levana Ronian, who also saw the video footage of the incident, called it awful. Now, I'm going to stop for 1 second, and my one critique of this, I am going to say this, my one critique of the situation is that I have a problem with the fact that seemingly everybody has seen this footage. This is not this is not good in my opinion. That it seems like there are players who have seen the video. I really don't understand why that is the case. It should have been something specifically that was dealt with where only the actual people at the top of the chess club and or like the arbiter should have seen it. I don't know why it would appear that multiple players have seen this video. Like I said, I'm fairly certain on this because again, there are people that I talk to that it's been seen by players, and not just Levana Ronian. So that is my one critique of the situation, is why exactly that is the case if it's not a public video. So that's the one thing that I don't like, is it seems like multiple players have seen it versus say it being something solely where only the top brass of the chess club and or the arbiters were the ones who saw it. That's the one and only critique I have of the situation. Okay. His father confirmed Bird's account of the incident and expressed deep regret and concern for the videographer, offering his apology. Contrary to what some have suggested, the videographer did nothing to provoke Christopher. We heard she's doing okay, but we don't have any details, and we pray she is doing well both physically and emotionally. Her well-being is of and the police, sorry, of course. Her well-being is of deep concern to all of us. In addition to the apology to the videographer, Yu extended his regret to tournament officials at St. Louis Chess Club, fellow players, US Chess, and the broader chess community, accepting full responsibility for the incident. And we are going to read the article. Okay, here we go. A statement about what happened on Wednesday in the US Championship from Christopher Yu's parents. First and foremost, Christopher wants to publicly apologize to the female videographer that was an innocent victim of his anger after his loss of a chess game. Contrary to what some have suggested, the videographer did nothing to provoke Christopher. We heard she's doing okay, but we don't have any details, and we pray she is doing well both physically and emotionally. Her well-being is of deep concern to all of us. Christopher offers no excuses for his behavior. He is just very sad and ashamed he behaved in that way. If you saw him tearfully apologize to the executive director of the club, you'd understand he is genuinely remorseful. Though he hasn't had an opportunity to talk to the videographer after the incident, he has sent her a personal apology via the executive director. Christopher understands something like this can never happen again and never ever should have happened in the first place. He would also like to apologize to the tournament officials, the St. Louis Chess Club, his fellow players, to the tournament, US Chess, and everyone in and outside the chess community that this may have affected. He accepts full responsibility for what happened and the potential consequences. Many people have expressed concerns about the mental well-being of our 17-year-old son. As parents, we more than share their concern. Something like this has never happened before, and he will be getting therapy to help make sure his mental well-being is properly cared for, and that something like this will not happen again. As his parents, we are still in shock at this turn of events and soul searching as to how we could have prevented this. As his father and main chess parent, I feel a particular responsibility for how this has impacted an innocent videographer, my son, and everyone this incident has touched, and I deeply apologize. Christopher's parents. P.S. Christopher is drafting his own apology and will release it when it's ready. Okay, so it seems like a very genuine statement. It seems to me that you know, at least from the parent standpoint, I mean, talking about mental concern and, you know, wondering what, you know, doing soul searching, it seems pretty genuine and heartfelt. This all sounds like an over exaggeration. Okay, chill, you guys, chill. So I mean, if this were an over exaggeration, I don't think the police, I mean, the police were called. Like, let's be serious. The police were called. Like, come on, be serious for a second. Okay. So yeah, so there's more of this is said. This is all in the statement. It says the 17-year-old has been regarded as one of US chess most promising stars ever since becoming the youngest American master at 9 in 2016. He followed up by achieving the IM title at the age of 12 in 2019, the youngest ever player to do so at the time. The Grandmaster title was achieved days before turning 15 at the end of 2021. He is currently 20th amongst the world's highest ranked juniors. Yeah, so this is obviously you know, very, very serious. Of course, I hope that the videographer is okay. First and foremost, that is the person, I mean, most affected. I mean, we should keep that in mind. You know, I have some thoughts on this, which I said in my YouTube video the other day. I think you know, my general view, and I know there are going to be people who are mad at me for saying this, especially considering the reach that I have, certainly. But I would say, as I've said many times on stream, you know, whether it's, you know, people ask me about chess in general, and in many cases, you know, people ask me, how do I get better? Why should I play chess? All these different things. And I've said it time and time again. Play chess, do it as something you enjoy, as a passion, something that you do at the casual level, something you do for fun versus trying to be a professional player. I mean, speaking from my own experience growing up, chess is one of the most brutal things you can do. It's very, very stressful. There are very few games in the world that you can play where the stress and the anguish of one wrong move ruining a game, combined with the fact that it's a very poor game. I mean, there's not a lot of money in it, and parents have to spend money out of their own pocket. And basically with no return, by the way, either. I should add, like, you can spend, you know, $5,000 going to Europe with a child playing a tournament, and you're not going to get a monetary there's going to be no monetary compensation. You might get $1,000 if you do very well in the event. So like when you combine like the mental health side of the stress and the anguish of what chess is itself at the professional level, when you see the fact that, you know, parents have to spend so much money, like all these things make it something that I really would say that I think you know, if you have a child, I mean, you have, you know, you're a parent, you have a child who wants to play chess and they want to, you know, get as good as they can. I think it's really, really important that it's done with zero expectation. Now, obviously, as you get better and better, expectation is a thing you can't suddenly be like, no, just play for fun, don't care, whatever, well, all the memes go. But it is something that, like, I really think that parents should really be aware of, like, how difficult it is and how mentally tough it is on everybody when you try to play chess professionally. Like, I would say that it's like I said, the mental health side must be a big issue. You know what I'm going to say though about mental health? I'm going to say that I think this is a very uniquely American issue, versus, like, everybody gets angry, make no mistake about it, but definitely when you see American juniors, you know, many players, the current crop, even like myself when I was younger, you know, you see people, like, the stress, it tends to affect the people in the US, I feel, worse, and I think there are a couple of reasons for that. The first reason I'm going to say is I think the fact of the matter is being American, growing up in America, you have very high expectations. Like, America is a place where being the best really is all that matters at the end of the day. Like, it is really all that matters, being the best. You know, you go play basketball, you make Division I, that's fine. You're not LeBron James. Nobody cares about you. I think that's a big part of it, is the US culture. I think also because you have this expectation, or I would say almost inflated sense of, you know, what the US is, you also expect there's going to be a lot of support. There's going to be all these great things that don't really play a role in other countries. So, like, for example, I'll use Fabiano. Obviously, Fabiano gets very angry after games. He doesn't show it at the board. He goes back to his room. He gets very angry, like everybody does. since I saw someone say it. But like Fabiano, for example, he grew up in Europe. He went to Europe when he was like 10 or 11 years old. His culture is very different. He grew up in Europe playing chess, training system, all these things are very, very different. And I don't think that in other places the end goal is like you're going to be world champion, you're going to make millions of dollars. I don't think that's the end goal. Whereas I think in the US that is the perception, that when you try to play chess professionally, it's all about the fame, the money, all these things, in a way that it is not in other countries. So Indian players don't show much anger actually when I think about it. I don't think they do, but I also think but like if I take some perspective from having played the Global Chess League and talking to Ramesh, who was the coach of my team, it feels like in India it's something that is like intellectual. You're trying to play, you're trying to get good, but there's none of these thoughts of like you're going to be a world champion, you're going to be the greatest thing ever, you're going to be famous. Like these are not things that are in the head, at least based on my conversations that I had with Ramesh during the Global Chess League. So I think a lot of why in the US it's different. Don't give excuses for violence. Who says I'm giving excuses for violence? I didn't say that. I'm explaining why I think in the US in the US you see juniors who are crazy much more so than anywhere else. I'm not making an excuse. Don't try to turn it around. It's pretty typical though that someone's going to say that. But I do think that's one of the things why in the US from a perception standpoint it's very, very different. I'm making an excuse. Okay, whatever, dude. Good troll. I already said my piece. I'm talking about chess generally. But okay, clearly there are gonna be people who are gonna start trying to ruin the mood, yeah, gonna start trying to ruin the mood and say, oh, I'm making some excuse for him or this, that, or the other thing. Thank you so much. But yeah, I think that is a big part of it. But as I said earlier, and I will reiterate once again, hopefully the victim, the videographer, is okay. That is the person who is most affected by all of this. So that's the bottom line. As I see it. I mean, hopefully he'll get help. I mean, everybody gets angry. Obviously lashing out and hitting someone is, I mean, never acceptable, period. Never acceptable. So yeah, it's sad. It's sad to see. And I mean, I'm pretty bummed by it too, because in all likelihood, I mean, it's very hard to see his chess career not being finished for one moment. On the other hand, this is, you know, another point I'm going to make is like everybody likes to say how chess imitates life, and you know, chess makes you think ahead. You make a mistake in a chess game, you reset, and then in life you don't make mistakes. Like chess does, you know, the lessons in chess are not like, it's not as plain and simple as X leads to Y and Y leads to Z. It's just not that simple. So that's what I would say broadly speaking. But you know, it's very sad to see. I think his career is probably over. I mean, maybe he can come back, and maybe he can come back and play in a few years, but I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. So yeah, it's tough to see. And I mean, hopefully he'll learn from it. Hopefully he'll be able to come back, but I don't think he's not going to get prison time for it. I highly doubt it. But yeah, it's rough. So what to do? He really should come back. I mean, the main reason I don't see it happening, I mean, maybe it could actually in this modern day and age, I think it definitely could actually, is that like if he actually is studying chess every day and playing online against the best players in the world, he could maybe improve his level even if he's not playing in person. Like if he's able to play online against the top players in the world consistently, he could improve his level. Because if you do that, like you think back to the pandemic in 2020, there were a lot of people who were playing online who were improving very, very quickly, the kids specifically, and they were not playing over the board. So if he's playing a lot of career being over, he's not going to get invitations. His membership in the USCF is temporarily suspended. His membership is temporarily suspended. So yeah. I mean, it's suspended, but if he plays online, maybe he can come back. I mean, I think a lot is going to depend, you know, well, on the statement he gives and everything else. But it's definitely disappointing, and it really casts a big pall over the U.S. Championship. Like, I mean, I was really watching it closely and enjoying it. David Howell punched someone once, and his career seems fine. Oh, you mean Stewart? All those years ago, and after that tournament, I remember reading about that in one of the chess magazines at the time. But that's, you know, I don't have the specific details about that. I don't think it's really the time. Trying to equate this and he's fine with this, like, I mean, trying to equate things, you know, that's not really a good thing to do. So anyway, yeah, I mean, he'll probably come back in a year or two. We'll see what his statement is. Hopefully he learns from it, gets some therapy or whatever mental stuff that's going on, and yeah, we'll see. So I don't think the final bit I'm going to make is I don't think chess.com, I'll play the bullet, probably. I don't care about 2 minutes, it's bullet. I don't think that chess.com can ban him from their site for that. It's something that did not happen on their site. So I really am skeptical. I'm really skeptical that he's going to get banned from chess.com. I would be very disappointed if they try to do that, because that's really drawing a parallel between something that happened at an event in St. Louis and online. You could make the same argument, like then you start rolling into all these very dangerous territories of, like, you know, what about someone who cheats on chess.com and then FIDE doesn't ban them over the board? Like they're start becoming these, like, equating two different things. So I don't think chess.com will I don't think they're going to ban him. I'd be very disappointed if they do, but we'll see. So that's it for the article right now, you guys. I'm going to go use the restroom very quickly because it's going to be 2 hours of bullet action coming up